Sammy with Beauty Boss. This is my get ready with me. Like I said, I'm no makeup artist, but this is just what I do when I'm trying to have like a little soft kind of glam, you know, just a little stunt. So yeah, this is pretty much like my look, and hope you enjoy it. If you want to see more of this, just put it all up in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All of that. Beauty Boss like us. Bye guys. So starting off with my Zaron Cosmetics primer, this is good because it's really lightweight and great for tropical weather, and just kind of smooth that in onto my skin. Then I proceed to do my brows. First I brush them out with a spoolie just to make sure that it makes it easier for me to really just kind of fill in my brows and make sure that I'm following my natural brow line. That is key, y'all. Like, follow your natural brow line. Like, I guess there are like also tutorials for making your brows bigger or shaving them down, so, but this is not that. So yeah, I come in with my 99-cent beauty supply pencil because it's cheap and cheerful and does the job. So I ended up just filling in my brows, following my natural brow line, y'all. And obviously I tend to be lighter towards the tip or the beginning of my brow because I don't want it to be so boxy and harsh. And like I said, I do that on the opposite side as well, and make sure that I'm also filling in and following my natural brow line. Like, that is so important because you want their brows to look like yours. You don't want them to look like, you know, they're fake or anything, or just like not, they don't go with your face. And like I said, it doesn't have to be super perfect or super precise because you're still going to come in with concealer after all of this to really clean up the excess amount of pencil that you've left, or, you know, really chisel that brow and make sure you get that nice arch. So like I said, just again, making sure I'm getting every hair. And then after that, I come in with my NW45 matte concealer, and I use my pretty pink brush collection flat concealer brush, and take a little bit of that, and just after this point use that to clean up my brow and get the shape that I really want out of this. So what you do is you just apply it underneath where you've done your brow, and just like I said, you don't need to enter into any of the pencil. This is just to clean the sort of outliers, or the brow pencil may have gotten to where you don't really like the shape. This is just to really like shape your brows. This is the shaping process right here. I don't do my eyebrows for more than maybe 2 to 3 months. Actually every 3 to 4 months. If you guys want to know where I get my brows waxed, this is not a good indication of that, but we used to have a post up on Beauty Boss Lagos. Shout out Shadies. And I use my concealer to sort of shape my brows, but you also want to use the concealer that's also close to your skin tone, so that when you're blending it out like I'm doing now, it's easier to reduce those sort of harsh lines, or those sort of that sort of halo effect, because we don't really like that over here. It makes you look sort of crazy when you're kind of, you know, taking pictures, and you want to just make sure you're blending that out really well. I could use one that's closer to my skin tone, but typically I'm pretty precise with how I kind of blend this part out. So I do that on the other side as well, and just make sure that I'm getting that sort of nice, clean brow. Like I said, I'm no makeup artist, but this is something I think I do seemingly well. And then after that, I come in with my pencil again, just to, I may have taken off more than I had desired, so I just kind of use that to fill in again to get a nice clean brow. And then I do that on the other side as well, just to make sure I'm doing with one side, you gotta do it to the other, y'all. So then I take my e.l.f. gel kit, so animated, and then I use my spoolie and I dip it in there, and just try and get the gel on that spoolie so that I'm like brushing it into my brow, and making sure that, you know, it looks more like my brow, and it looks more real, and it looks more like these could be the fullness or thickness of my brow. And like I said, it helps to also make sure that your brow doesn't shift throughout the day, because that's the annoying thing that can happen. And just make sure you brush that out and make sure it's symmetrical on both sides. And then you take your blending brush and again blend out the tips so that you get that nice natural beginning of the brow, and make sure you really don't have that halo effect. And voila. Then after that, I go in with my LA Girl concealer and Fawn and just kind of put that over my lids just to make sure that I'm muting out my lids. I don't want any of my veins to show. And also, this is a great way to prep your lids for eyeshadow. I'm typically not I'm not using really bright eyeshadow. If I was, then I'd probably use a white base, or Urban Decay's lid primer is actually really good as well, but this is one to use if you're just using, normal. And then after that, after I prep the lids with the concealer, I then come in with a Sacha Buttercup, or just a neutral eyeshadow that's sort of my skin tone, just to set that concealer to make sure that it doesn't crease while or after I've put on my eyeshadow. That's important because that just defeats the purpose of even putting on eyeshadow if it starts to crease like crazy. And just kind of go in and then I come in with my Makeup Forever face powder, and I use this as sort of a neutral shade on my lids because it is also my color, but it also has a little tint of brown in it, just to, kind of give some depth, or depth to my lid when I'm putting on my shimmery eyeshadow today. And it's just great for everyday makeup, and that's why I really, really like it. So I take a blending brush, I think that's from BH Cosmetics, and I kind of go in making sure that in a circular motion, making sure that I'm getting the product all throughout my eyelids, and just ensuring that everything, looks nice and neat. It doesn't need to be ultra, ultra neat because, like I said, you will still end up using concealer and your foundation to clear up the excess or the tail end of this. It's just so you can get the product on there in a really nice fashion and make sure it looks clean. And obviously some of these videos are sped up. Then afterwards, I take my highlighter palette. I actually use this as my eyeshadow because I just really like the way it looks. It's not too gold, but it gives a nice shimmer and you can really build on it. I think for me, I just wanted something to really lighten up my eyes, so I don't look like I have dead eyes throughout the day. And this is really good because kind of just, like you said, look at it, you can really build it up and, make it as gold as you want it to. But I just did a little bit, nothing too much, just to make sure that I have a nice sort of shimmery lid. Then I come in again with my Makeup Forever powder and use my blending brush, and also take that to make sure I blend out the highlighter, and making sure that everything just kind of looks nice, smooth, and blended. Then I come with my foundation, Black Opal, y'all, the best foundation in beautiful bronze. Stick foundation is great, especially for night heat. After I've applied that all over to my face, I take my beauty blender. It's already wet, you guys. Obviously, you squeeze the water out. And this is probably the best way that you can really, apply this product onto your face, because it will take a lot of blending. This can unfortunately be streaky if you don't really take the time to blend it out. So that's why I prefer to use a beauty blender instead of a foundation brush, just to make sure that I really have a blended out look, and especially when people are taking pictures of me. I hate streaky foundation, so this is what I do to make sure that everything looks nice and cohesive throughout my whole entire face. And I brush that, and I do blend it into my hairline as well, and underneath my eyes, and just prep my skin before I highlight, contour, and bake. So yeah, this is great. And I also press it into my neck, just because I want everything to be even and making sure that everything looks good. So I mixed LA Girl, Fawn, and Toast together for my under eye highlight, as well as just my overall face highlight. I put in my cupid's bow, my chin, and then my forehead, and as well as use a little bit on the excess on top of my nose. Just make sure I get a sort of a precise line. A little shaky, but it gets the job done. Normally what you're supposed to do is I'm supposed to have started with my other areas outside of my under eyes, because my under eyes typically tend to crease first, and you want to make sure that you set that part first, because if not, it creases really fast. And for me, I crease like I'm like 83 years old. I don't really know why. It just happens that way. So I also use a beauty blender also that's wet, because you'll also need to be able to, use that to control the way the product goes on your face. And I use different parts of the beauty blender to make sure I'm getting more of a blended look. And I just kind of, like I said, take everything throughout my face just to make sure that it looks nice and blended. Blending out my chin, blending out my forehead. And you're still going to put your setting powder over this, guys. So obviously, all the sort of halo effects will be taken out once you do that. And blending in my nose for when I prep for my nose contour. Seldom do that, but for this video I will. So obviously it's sped up because you guys will get the gist of things, and if you need be, just rewind, take it at your own pace, guys. Like I said, I'm no makeup artist. This is just my everyday makeup. And after I'm done pretty much blending my life out and pressing that thing into my skin, I come back with my black opal translucent powder, and I put that on my beauty blender as well, and I sort of press that into my skin and I also press, oh yeah, there's me chatting. My sister was there, so she was spilling all the tea, y'all. So like I said, I usually press that into my skin like so, my black opal translucent powder in deep, and just to make sure that I have something that matches my color, and it's pretty yellow based, so, or not yellow, but it like has sort of a brown tint to it that goes really well with my skin that I like. Yeah, again, me chatting it up. And I kind of like go in all the areas I've put concealer on to make sure that anything that's cream, you need to set it with a powder, because if not, it will shift. And in Nigeria, once you go out, it's like an oven. So anything that you don't set will shift. Even if you set it, it will shift small. So you actually need to be really precise. Then I come in with my Sacha Buttercup, and I put that under my eyes, start with that part, and then also kind of taking it up into my sort of Cupid's bow, chin, and forehead. And then I come in with my contour brush, or a contour palette as well as the brush. It's this Nicka Garrett contour palette that's pretty good. Stole from my sister. Lol. And I really like it because it's kind of dark, but still good enough to give you that sort of chiseled, sculpted look. I don't really like a too sculpted look, so that's why I don't use that much. And I also have a contour brush from the Pretty Pink collection. And I go in with my Sacha Buttercup blending, and put that on my beauty blender to sort of, create more of a sculpted look as I'm putting it under the contour. So after I go in with my Nicka K, I pencil, and I usually do this right before I apply my liquid liner, because liquid liner can be really messy, and I always need sort of a guide. So I try to do this before to make sure that I'm getting sort of a more precise point as to where I'm going to apply it. Because y'all, liquid liner is no joke. Like once that thing messes up, you're already in full. Oh, did my liquid liner just break on me? Annoying. So yeah, do that on both eyelids and just go in. Then after I come in with my NYC liquid liner, and like I said, you can see the determination and the focus. It's so tricky to get liquid liner the way you want it to be. But fortunately, this came out not too bad. Hashtag little applause, because I kind of got it the way I wanted it to look. So I'm pretty happy with this. And I also just like using liquid liner comparable to gel because it's more precise, and when you get it the right way, it looks really nice. And I feel like sometimes gel tends to like transfer really, really fast, but this NYC liquid liner typically stays on for a long time. Then I come in and remove all of that excess powder from that baking. My technique has changed a little bit just from watching YouTube videos, and I know now that I should have actually probably used my powder and put a little bit of on that before, using that to clear off the excess Sacha, Buttercup, and Black Opal translucent powder, because then it kind of helps to restore back the color of my skin and bring the warmth back to my face. Then after that, I come in with my Makeup Forever, and this is probably like the next step of what I should have done before, but I also just kind of split it into two and just use my powder brush from Real Techniques and just, blend all of that in there and make sure I'm getting a very nice sort of brown, bringing back that milk chocolate to ensure that my skin looks good. Then I come in with my e.l.f. blush palette, and I really love this product because it's super cheap, but it has a wide range of colors, perfect for day or nighttime. Then I use a J-Cat jumbo pencil in dark chocolate just for my lower lids, just because I just wanted something like a pop of color on my lower lids. And I think this is just a nice little touch, just to kind of complement the shimmery gold on my lids. And I kind of put this on the bottom just to, like I said, just add a little pop of color, just do something nice. It's a very basic makeup look, but it's just something nice. And then I use, because I always forget to color correct because I have really dark circles under my eyes, I always have to kind of go in again to put a little bit more of a highlighting powder under my eyes so that I don't really have like dead eyes at the end of the makeup routine. And I use a powder brush to apply this as well. And also just, come in again with my Nicka K pencil to make sure that I kind of smudge the dark chocolate because I don't want it to be so stark. I kind of want it to look, like a natural sort of, as natural as possible. So I use that, and it's also a good way for me to prep when I'm putting on my mascara as well. And I put this also on my well, not tear duct, but my tear line. I don't know, is that what it's called? Wipe that away, and yeah, that's the final eye look. And then I also, again, smudge it out with a pencil. I like that it does that as well. Then coming with my Gallany Cosmetics in Private Jet Black mascara. I literally have no lower lashes, guys. So maybe y'all need to start a GoFundMe because I need some lower lashes. So I just use this to prep for my lashes as well as, drag any small hairs I could find on my lower lash and kind of make those come out a bit more. Then again, just powdering. I always do this to just kind of touch up because I really want my color to come back. Most of the time what happens is when I go outside, it usually tends to just oxidize and bring out my full color. But in the process of this, I just kind of use this as a way to sort of bring the warmth back to my face. And I'm using my Makeup Forever face powder in 187 as well to do all of this. And also bring it down into my neck. After that, I then come in with my highlighting kit. This is my favorite part because it's just when you get to be extra. And I put a little bit on. Actually, no, I lied. I put a lot on. But then I tone it down, guys. So just because it's daytime. And what I do is I use the first and the third color, or the baked highlighting illuminating colors, because I like to mix them. They create for a really nice glow. Very sophisticated but subtle, and just overall nice highlight look. And the palette is called Wild and Radiant by BH Cosmetics, And I'll still go over it with powder, guys. As you can see, I have lashes on. I'm lash challenged, y'all, so it takes me a while to put on lashes. So if I recorded that, we would have been on this video for another 45 minutes. So I take my powder that I used to bake with, and I just kind of put it in around those highlighting areas to make sure I'm highlighting, because like I said, I have dark circles and I want my under eyes to be bright as possible. Then again, powdering just to remove that darkness of the highlight. Then I'm finished, and I also have NY Clip Liner Pencil in brown and Praline on the lips. It's Butter Gloss favorite lipstick. Take my hairband off and let the tresses flow. And I use my Urban Decay De-Slick. Almost literally died there. And I'm done, guys. This is the final look. Thanks.
G-M-K. Ooh yeah, and that. I'm gonna have to go I strip all your night. Okay, yeah. Get a girl tonight. Then the funny wanna get it like a die. So stop and hide. Get it poppin' in the East part, nigga. Nigga sick, nigga night. Big nigga in the mind.